This is the last series of the drawing people um, sessions, and I've been looking at all my sketchbooks over the years and how I drew people I loved, and I'll show you some the early ones. What was a very early one, maybe 1957, of my little sister. She's aged 1.5 or 2. She loved handbags. She had 24, and she had them in bed with her. I've got one of them there. They were like her toys. And this was what I looked like, a self-portrait in reflected light. The light was coming from my blouse. I was maybe 18, and it was a turning point in my art life, because the drawings I did of the children, I didn't know they were art. I didn't know they were art. They were just what I did. And there's another one there. I filled my sketchbook with drawings that I did each night. And my art lecturer, Geoffrey Wedgwood, saw and said, "Wow, have you got any more of these?" And I said, "Yes, I've got a box under my bed full of them." And he said, "Oh, can you bring them in?" And I thought, I wonder why. And I brought them in, and they got me a travelling scholarship to Italy. So I was very pleased about that. And I didn't even know they were art. I thought it was just what I did before I went to sleep. So we'll go through it. In 1960, that is 3 years later, I married, and this, I was breastfeeding him and cradling him with my right hand as he drank from my right breast, and my left hand drew the picture. And every now and again he'll stop drinking and gaze at me, and then carry on drinking again. Very sweet. And then it's time for him to drink from the left breast. So I changed arms, and my left arm wrapped around him. Now this is a bit difficult because I'm left-handed. So my left arm wrapped around him, holding the pad, and my right arm drew the picture. So I'm left-handed, and I was drawing with the non-custom hand. And so that's him drinking from the other side. Is it the only pair of pictures that have ever been drawn? Has anybody seen another pair of pictures? It's always at the first. 2 pictures of being drawn while they breastfeed. Another 2 pictures. This was by me, not far, half an hour's drive, and we get to the beach. And that boy, his hat's right over his eyes, I don't know why. He's got his spade, and he's digging there, same boy. And there's a pen line on, there's crayon, blue, red, that's magenta, and a bit of yellow. And there he is again, with yellow, there's blue, and magenta there. So that is with 3 colours, and that is with 3 colours and ink, black pen ink. The rest is crayon. I think of this as like designed for a lithograph. I love to draw when I go to Heathrow. I'm going on my travels and I love it, an adventure. And I'm sitting there waiting for the plane with nothing to do with my sketchbook open. The lady sat near me with her little baby, Amy, cradled in her arms. And I drew her. That's a watercolour. I don't usually open a watercolour box while I'm sitting, but I've probably had plenty of time to wait. I was at a flute convention and Peter Lucas Graf, a special invite as a soloist. He was playing solos, amazing music, and I was sitting quite close by drawing him. He could see me and he took no notice. And that was 1983. Another Heathrow moment. Each time when I'm drawing at Heathrow, I have lots of happy subjects. They don't know it, but I just start drawing them, and I usually think about one thing. I usually specialize. My brain zooms in on one aspect. This day I can see I was thinking about the shapes, the two people looking at each other, or two people looking at a person and the shadow. This two people with their backs to each other. That, I think that's 3. I'm not sure. Here's another 3, another 2. It's the shape of a group of people, and there's one person on its own with very bright light and shadow, and looking from above, looking down at some of them. And I was probably going to Greece. That is drawn in Patmos, and it's Nick, and the drawing is very soft, beigey brown felt tip or brush pen, I'm not sure which. Nick probably didn't know I was drawing, and then he'd look up and say, "Oops, you're drawing me," but he didn't mind. This is more recent. It's my little granddaughter, and she loved her bear, and it was called Barely. She brought Barely to visit me, but then they found they couldn't pack it. There was not enough packing space for 2 toys, Barely and his friend Owlette. So Barely and Owlette had to be left behind by us, and I promised we'd post them to him. But there's a little story that goes with that, and Barely and Owlette found their way to Germany all by themselves, and that's a little storybook. That's one of the pictures I used for the story, I think. I'm not quite sure if I used that picture, but that's my granddaughter Jeani and Barely, and I can barely see him now. He's in the polythene. And this here is a long time ago, 1993, no, 1998 maybe. I was learning to sculpt. My friend Bon was teaching me to sculpt with in Mount Somers stone, and I was going to. The subject was it was ecological, about the trees dying and things like that, and I decided I would sculpt a tree screaming for help. So Nick posed for me, and then I wanted the screaming to be important, and so he screamed for me, quietly screamed for me, and he put his hand out, and I drew that picture of him screaming, his face wide open. And I got this into the sculpture and finished it. I did it in a month at the convention in the main park in Christchurch, New Zealand, and I sold it. My first sculpture. And the last one here is I had this I was going to India, and I was in India at the Ganges, sunrise, and a boat with a man rowing and some passengers. And it was sunrise, there's a yellow sun and its reflection. And that's Adobe. He's doing his washing work, knee deep in the Ganges, scrubbing away at the washing. He worked very hard, had nothing but seawater or river water, whatever is Ganges. And I don't know if he used soap, can't remember, but he worked very hard, and they were always spotlessly clean, whatever he was ended up with. I think that's it, unless have I got this one?
Oh, so you've shown your sketchbooks and how you've been drawing the things you love for many years. Do you think the people who follow this course should do the same thing?
Yes, I'm awfully pleased to be following the course, and I've loved it when you've got back to me and told me and shown me what you've done. And what I really love drawing is drawing my granddaughters, and you can see me drawing my granddaughter with charcoal, stroke by stroke. Drawing Jasmine, my granddaughter, in the garden on November the 6th, with charcoal taken from yesterday's bonfire. I'm filming this stroke by stroke, so you get the feeling of the light touch of charcoal on the paper. The paper is firm and smooth, and the charcoal is extremely lightweight, and it draws effortlessly with soft, silky, sensitive line glided over the paper, guided by me. I occasionally use a bit more pressure if I want the line to be stronger. I'm drawing the mouth, the nostril, the line between nostril and mouth, and now I'm just going to draw a little bit of forehead and the arm and the shoulder and the shoulder. And now on the right side of the page, long silky hair with long silky lines down on the jacket of her long hair. And the charcoal is beautifully sensitive and soft. Very, very light. I'm drawing the left side of the page, the hair, and the parting. See the parting going? And now for a bit more dark under the chin. Very dark by her ear. And now with the jersey gets dark in the corner as well, and the jacket. As I draw, mostly I am looking at Jasmine and occasionally switch my attention to the drawing. I check to see if the drawing shows what I see. If I make a mistake, the line can be brushed away by hand, a soft brush or cloth, or an eraser. I keep the drawing very soft at first and strengthen it if needed later. There are no rules as to when it is finished. It's finished when you stop. And now the front of the jacket with the zip area. And now for the hood, little bit of hood, yes. And that arm is bent too, both arms bend at the elbow. This arm is bent and it rests on the table. That is on the right side of the page. And on the left side, the arm is holding a little bit of charcoal. You can see her hand holding a tiny bit of charcoal up there, very tiny. Front of jacket is being drawn. Now the lines of her hair, a bit more on the left, and a bit more of the arm. And that's it. That's all I'm going to draw. Good picture of the piece of charcoal I did. Great big piece of charcoal. Tiny little soft lines come out of the tip end. I didn't bother to sharpen it or anything. I just used it as it was. As I draw, mostly I am looking at Jasmine and occasionally switch my attention to the drawing. I check to see if the drawing shows what I see. If I make a mistake, the line can be brushed away by hand, a soft brush or cloth, or an eraser. I keep the drawing very soft at first and strengthen it if needed later. There are no rules as to when it is finished. It's finished when you stop. This is the end of my people drawing course. I've enjoyed doing it, and I hope you've enjoyed doing it together with me. I began with pin men because it's like their signature. Everyone can draw a pin man with confidence. I also began with movement, so everyone could begin to draw people having fun. That's the most important. Not that they're in perspective or you've measured them. No, it's having lively fun. We stylized the pin man's body with shapes for head and hips and chest. Then we boxed them in. And first we boxed them, we made shapes, and then we boxed these shapes to make them three-dimensional. We introduced a light source for light and shadow. I invented Boxy, a character you could make yourself. Nick and I had a lot of fun in the garden together, demonstrating muscles. You want pecs?
Pecs? Where are my pecs?
There, across there.
Across there. I need pecs, so put some pecs in.
Whoops! Nick flew up into the sky after advising us about light and shade.
Off I go, muscle woman. I hope I've been a big help.
Yes.
I've got some people to save.
On the other side of the planet. Whoosh!
This went down well with my family and friends. Finally, I encourage you to draw real people relaxing in your home. All this was during COVID pandemic. Today we've been talking about drawing the things you love and keeping drawing. This is my most important lesson. I've shared my drawings with you and hope you can send some and share yours with me. I'd love to see them. See the description below for my email. My future plan, I'll be doing another video soon talking about my 80 years of drawing people. I hope you'll watch it. Keep a sketchbook. Remember, this is the main lesson. Keep a sketchbook and put your date, the year date, on the front. Draw what you love. Keep drawing. And practice will make your drawing stronger. So, draw what you love and keep drawing. I'll say it again. Draw what you love and keep drawing, whether it's people or chimpanzees or your best teddy bear or whatever. Draw what you love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.